What is the secret of Soylent Green? New York City in the year 2022. Nothing runs anymore. Nothing works. But the people are the same. And the people will do anything to get what they need.
This is the police.
What they need most is Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted. Return to your home.
What is the secret of Soylent Green? Detective Sergeant Thorne. He has a 2-year backlog of unsolved murders. Now he's on a case that must be solved. Saul Roth, Thorne's private library.
Hey, Saul.
A living book in a world without books.
Have some.
Welcome to Technocracy News, Patrick.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you. This movie, Soylent Green, I'm sure some people will recognize this immediately. This was a cult movie issued in 1973, I believe.
Yep.
It's been reviewed over the decades. It's an amazing movie, and it starred Charlton Heston for one. He's a big name back then. Remember, he's the guy that did the Ten Commandments, right? Movie. And then the other guy that we see in this movie here, the trailer, the Saul, who he went to kill himself in a assisted what do you call it, euthanasia center. And it was so striking at the end. He basically gave up. He couldn't deal with all of the dystopia, the shortages, everything that was, society was breaking down. And all of a sudden, the poor guy, he says, I'm checking out. But the key is here, there were euthanasia centers that he could check into. They were all over the place. They had several even in New York City. And so people who wanted to kill themselves, they could go there, they'd check out, no questions asked, and you could do away with yourself with pretty music and flowers and scenes of days gone by, etc. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this is coming to America now and the world. This business of assisted suicide is being legitimized by governments around the world. And of course, they talk about, it's a conspiracy theory. Sorry, it doesn't work. I'm getting an echo somewhere. Can you hear that?
By the way,
okay, it's just me. Whatever. I don't know. We're using this new platform, and I think it's just resolved. So that's cool. So this whole business of assisted suicide is being legitimized by governments around the world now, and this is basically a death cult. There's no way other to explain it, but we see it in several countries around the world, including the United States. This is very disturbing. Because and it doesn't matter what kind of criteria they will say. For instance, this article says, well, you have to be over 18, at least in England or Wales. You have to have the mental capacity to make the choice. You have to be, you have to expect you're going to die within 6 months. There's other, criteria. But the point is, the door is being opened for assisted suicide. And it's basically going to be at the choice of the people themselves.
In Canada's been doing this for a while too as well, right?
Yes, and there's I think Oregon now has a law on the books, maybe Washington State as well. And we're going to see more of this going forward. this is just absolutely egregious that this death cult would think that it's a good thing for we should kill ourselves. That saves them the bullet.
Yeah.
Basically, if they can talk somebody into it, well, there you go.
Gosh,
Crazy.
Gosh. And I mean, a lot of these people need help. They don't need, I mean, you're feeding into their mental issues. If they want to kill themselves, you should be helping them, not, oh, we can help you do that.
Well, exactly. This death cult, I shouldn't even say that word or that phrase probably. It's more than that. It's this whole thing goes really deep into philosophical things that are happening in Silicon Valley, for instance. And the idea of getting rid of people who are otherwise unfit for society, you don't want to help those people in their mind. Those are the people you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
You see, they're self-selecting. And so if you have emotional problems, if you're a useless eater or whatever, you can't handle life, well, they're just going to open a door for you to kill yourself, check into your center, and there you go. You're going to be gone. But it'll, like I said, it will save them the bullet to get rid of you. And this is part of the idea of I think the phrase is like kind genocide.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
There's all this talk about depopulation, and
yes.
I mean, I was going to ask you before you said that. Is this the motive behind this? Is it helps get closer to depopulation, or is there another motive behind it? But I think you just answered that.
I think so. If you talk to the people in that industry, I'm sure 99% of them would not say, well, they wouldn't say that, well, we want to wipe out the world. But nevertheless, you can see this hand over the whole thing. Basically, this is a satanic thing for sure. Devil's the one that wants to kill everybody in the first place. But you can see his hand over this whole thing at this point. And so the people that promote it, some of them probably have a clue, but others are just clueless, and they just go in for the ride.
Yeah. Do you want to go to the next story here?
Let's do.
The next story is smart cities. Nationwide, police are embracing facial recognition tech. And we talked about this, how some of these cities, even if they outlaw facial recognition, then they're using other types of recognition like body parts or everything but the face to recognize someone, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. The recognition technology today is so sophisticated, you just can't hardly believe it. If I could take a shot of you walking away from a camera, I can use AI to identify you wherever I see you, just by your gait, the way you walk.
Yeah.
Right. The way you sling your body, sway, the way your hands move, the way your head works. And apparently they figured out, well, there's enough identifiers there that they can tell who you are. And they don't have to read your face. So, this, in any case, this particular story is really disturbing because for all of the cities who have shunned facial recognition, there's been a bunch of them around the country. But all of the cities in the country have been under assault from these companies like Palantir and other facial recognition software companies. They've been under assault by teams of, the sophisticated teams, sales guys come in and they're three-piece suits or whatever, or their T-shirts and blue tennis shoes that you don't know how they're going to show up. But they come in, they sell the cities on this this technology. They don't go to the city council. They go to the police department. So immediately they're doing an end run around what the people would want to do. And the police departments, they don't have a clue at that point where they get this sales pitch that's so compelling. Then they go to the city council and say, we tried this out. We really want this now. We really want this facial recognition software. Well, here's the thing. This is really an interesting statistic. There's only 109,000 cities in America. Just think about that for a minute. That's a manageable number. And that includes just over 19,000 who were formally incorporated. That's like your town, my town, probably, Phoenix, Arizona, Mesa, Arizona. They're incorporated. Uh-huh. But all of the other cities are not incorporated. Some don't even have police departments, and they have they just take the county police force takes care of them. But that's a manageable amount of sales calls for any billionaire technocrat in our country, for sure. Just to say, okay, guys, build teams, go make the rounds, sell them all.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're coming up on a break here. We got to go to a break, and we'll be back here in just a moment.
July 6, 2005. This is Tom Harper. Man figures plankton stopped his rare cancer. We got more of a response from our viewers than anything else you and I have ever discussed.
Tom Harper, 20 years ago, he had mesothelioma, deadly lung cancer, was given weeks to live, and he just intuitively started to eat the phytoplankton out of his fish tanks because he fed the phytoplankton to his shellfish. He was a shellfish farmer. And when he went in for the surgery, the surgeon came out of the operating room and told his family, I have not ever seen anything like it. The cancer is benign, and Tom Harper lived for years. He retired in Hawaii. We're not making any claim.
Here he is in his own words.
Started on a daily routine of just taking a bit of paste, putting it in my mouth, and wash it down with a drink of water. Within about 10 to 15 days, here I am, less pain in my back. I knew that something was going on, so I just kept eating half a teaspoon of this paste a day. I was booked to go for surgery in Victoria where they were going to do what they call a talc treatment. They went in there to have a look, saw something they'd never seen before, took 11 sites, sent them away for biopsy. I got the news back. Everything was benign. They just did not know what to make of it. Everything was absolutely clean. And I've tried dieting all my life because I'm a diabetic. If it's a coincidence or not, I don't know. My blood sugar started dropping. My weight started falling off. Here I am, no longer requiring insulin, and I was taking 88 units a day of insulin. I can eat just about what I want in moderation, and I have no elevated sugar levels, and I feel fabulous.
People, you hear the word cancer, and they want you to be instilled with fear. Cancer is nothing but a profound failure of the immune system. And what happened with Tom Harper is the phytoplankton is microscopic. It's God's microscopic food. And the Gadatiana is the most nutritionally comprehensive strain of phytoplankton in the world. David Hunter studied phytoplankton for 20 years because he worked for Tom Harper, and he was there in person and witnessed Tom's recovery. It's about getting pure nutrition inside your cells. And what happens, your body balances again or goes back to homeostasis. And when your body is pH balanced or in homeostasis, disease can't grow. It is literally microscopic, pure single cell plant food with protein and omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, with amino acids and vitamins and minerals. 1 scoop a day. There's 90 billion plant cells in here just for everyday nutrition and energy and, cognitive support, because this is God's pure nutrition.
Go to melissahousegpa.com today. Discover the science and learn more about the wonderful benefits of Gaditana phytoplankton. That's melissahousegpa.com. melissahousegpa.com.
Welcome back from the break. We left off talking about these facial recognition cameras that are being put in everywhere, and they have a section here in the article that are what's the real issue here, and it states this is Leo Hohmann writing, I think, correct?
Yes, right. Exactly.
He says, what we are really dealing with here are powerful and very wealthy technocrats pressuring municipalities worldwide to become smart cities. Let's face it, most members of city councils are not the sharpest people in their community. They have absolutely zero knowledge of where AI in the surveillance state is taking us, nor do they care to educate themselves. They think it's sexy and cool to purchase and activate the latest surveillance technology and don't realize they are playing right into the hands of the elitists at the United Nations, World Economic Forum, and other globalist organizations seeking total control over human movement and overall human behavior. Yeah, which is so true. I mean, once they get all these put in, I mean, there's already cameras being put in on every corner, almost on every parking lot. There's cameras. I don't know if you know about the flock cameras on those poles, and you see them everywhere now. Yes. So if you were to put a software behind it, like a very powerful software and AI, I mean, you could track every human in the country.
You can. Yeah, and these cameras are so sophisticated today with the optics that they've developed. They look really small, like really small cameras, but they can zoom incredibly fast, and they can take a snapshot, like a 4K snapshot of you, even 200 yards away. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be far off to say that someone, when this gets all implemented, they could look your name up, pull up your file, and see where you've gone the past month.
Exactly.
Pretty easily, I'm sure.
I know. Yeah. Well, we live in a brave new world, but let me tell you this, people, if you have a city that does not have facial recognition in the police department, especially, now's the time to complain to your city council. Don't do it. If you have an opportunity, just tell them, don't do this. Spare us the trouble.
Yep.
And some cities, like I said, some cities have already done this. My hat's off to them, by the way. So, word to the wise.
Well, the last article we have here is AI data centers and the energy they're taking up. It says AI data centers draw same power as 2 million homes. And I know there's been a lot of talk recently in the media about Elon's data center here and how it's letting off pollution and stuff into the air. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know there's been it's been a big topic recently. I've seen it multiple times.
It's amazing to me that all of a sudden anything AI gets a free pass, and relative to global warming, the war on carbon, all that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. They get a free pass, and they're above the fray at this point. And what they tell us now, well, that AI is going to help us solve global warming, right? Because all the rest of you plebes out there, we're gonna tell you what you can do, but we ourselves, we're consuming all the energy in the world at this point that resulted from nuclear and carbon fuels and everything else, and everything is left over for us, the people of the country. It appears now, well, all we're going to get is the leftover dregs of solar panels wind turbines, stuff like that, and they're going to get all the clean power, all the reliable power for their AI data centers.
Well, this is actually crazy. I just was I remember seeing a post about something on Instagram about the Elon data center. I opened Instagram, and the first post was from the Daily Memphian that popped up. I didn't even search anything. First post that popped up. XAI's second data center could use enough electricity to power 40% of Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And Memphis isn't a small city. I mean, 40% of Memphis, that's a lot of power.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Well, we have data centers all over America at this point. We have several in Phoenix, Arizona, and Mesa, Arizona. Actually, almost every city, it seems like, well, Gilbert has some, one, I think, and Tempe they're on a short list for a data center, but they're popping up all over the place, and you can't conceive how much power they're consuming, and they're just getting started. This is an industry that by the 2030, they're saying, well, it's going to like double, triple, or maybe quadruple for energy requirements in just 3 years from now. Where's that all going to come from?
Yeah.
Well, President Trump just put the regulations aside for nuclear power plants to be constructed, but you can't construct a nuclear plant in 2 or 3 years. It just it can't happen. They take years to put together. They're great. They can produce great power, but this is not a near-term solution at all. So who's going to make up the difference with this? With all of the energy has been sucked in to AI? Well, it's going to be you and me through rate increases, through denial of power, and probably through blackouts and brownouts as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, there'll be rolling blackouts, I'm sure. I mean, if power gets limited, it's not going to be limited to the supercomputers. They're not going to want to take the liability of cutting them off and frying their computers or causing them harm in any way. So they're going to shut us off.
Yes. I want to unpack this article a little bit because there's so many things in here that I found interesting. Starting off, when you consider there's 415 terawatt hours already being consumed, that's an inconceivable amount of energy. This is worldwide. And at this point, the U.S. is surging past China by a factor of almost 2 to 1. In other words, we're using almost twice the energy to power AI as China is. Well, what does that tell you? Okay, who's going to win this race at this point is the people who have the power to run AI in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look down this article. There was a great picture, graphic image, just a little bit further down, Logan, right there, that one there. I think you have that image somewhere. We can kind of blow it up for the people. You have to consider now what's going on here with this map. Well, these are the data centers around the country, well, the world, and look at the clusters in America. Northern Virginia has the biggest cluster at this point of anywhere in the world. How about Washington State? How about California? How about even Arizona? Well, they have some bubbles there that, relatively speaking, that's significant. But look at the smattering of other data centers, little pinpoint things around the world, like in Africa, in South America, in Australia. There's a few little small globes, meaning they're not really engaged in the game at all. But at this point, it's obvious that the AI revolution is coming from America almost exclusively to the whole world. And apparently, because Silicon Valley has now entered into Washington, D.C., that's where Virginia is, by the way, they've accelerated the drive to get these data centers all over America with American energy, with the intent to literally take over the world. By comparison, look at Dublin, for instance, London, all the other small little circles around there too. I think Germany's probably in there, and you see other little minuscule dots along the way. Look at Beijing, though. Even Beijing, it pales in comparison to Northern Virginia, right? So who's going to win this race to dominate the world? I can guarantee it, based on this metric right now that we see here, it's going to be the United States. There's no way that China's going to take up the slack here. And in the meantime, for all the people, for all of the data centers in America that are sucking up our power, they're going to have to impoverish the whole society to not have the energy that we need out here to run our homes, our businesses, etc. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be really ugly in the end. But you can see this is the metric that President Trump is using to accelerate the takeover of AI in the world. This is the metric right here.
Yeah, and this, I mean, if this ends up happening, which, I mean, they're building more and more every day. I feel like there's more AI data centers being proposed and put up. But I mean, this is something that would cause civil unrest. I mean, if they start cutting people's power off, they're not going to just sit back and take it.
You'd hope not, but who knows? Americans are really fickle. You can't trust them to mount a good protest for sure.
Yeah,
maybe they will at some point, but at this point, all of the promises that AI is holding out for us, a lot of people just are buying that hook, line, and sinker. So, wow. There you go.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we are all out of time for today. We'll be back on Thursday with a new show. Until then, take care.